Namaste, Jay Bharat. It's a Shakespearean dialogue, poetry rather, that says, cowards die many times before their death. The valiant never tastes of death but once. Of all the wonders I've ever heard, I wonder why men should fear death. A necessary end will come when it will come. I hope I got it correct. I read it when I was 18 or 19 or 20, and afterwards I never repeat reading it. So I hope. Otherwise, my apologies if I make some mistakes in quoting. So the point is, how far Shakespearean expression is practically correct, one has to wonder. Shakespeare says it's a necessary end, will come when it will come, but very few humans can do that. Very few humans don't fear death. People do fear death. Only some people, they may not care. They don't quite bother. And one person that comes to my mind is David Hume. If what I hear about him is correct, he was not quite bothered. People, he was roaring with laughter when he was dying. So, death, people are worried, afraid. And what is death? What happens to people after death is a pertinent question, and people go to find an answer to this in religions. Religions, but I would speak about Bharatiya dharmas. There's a difference between dharma and religion. I make it always. What religion is, you know, but in Bharat we have four dharmas. The Sanatana Dharma, which is called as Hindu, and the Jains, the Buddhists, and of course the Sikhs. In Sanatana Dharma, what happens to death? What happens after death is that one should attain moksha. In Jainism, the same moksha with some variations and some variations, minor but major. They call it as Kaivalya. When it comes to Buddhism, similar, minor difference but again major. They call it as Nirvana, and in Sakh Dharma, of course, it is moksha again. Now, what is moksha is well narrated. There is no question of a person going to either hell or heaven after death. In non-Bharatiya religions, we have, there is a judgment day where you will be judged upon your merits and demerits, and you will be either sent to heaven and hell, and there's a narrative about what heaven is and what hell is, and all kinds of things are there present. Most of you know it. I need not repeat, but about the Bharatiya thing, hardly any people know, though in spite of them being Hindus, Jains, Buddhists, Sikhs. Because of their education, overlapping of the European education with the Bharatiya education, there is a lot of confusions in the minds of people. They know, but they don't know. Then they don't know. They know, but then they don't know. Moksha. What is moksha is well narrated. How to attain moksha? Many methods. The simplest method is devotion, worship, bhakti. And how to attain, what is Kaivalya? You aspire to be like one that of the Tirthangara. Nirvana, you aspire to be like Tathagata. Sikh, of course, moksha, like the Sanatanis. Moksha, I would simply say, as fast as possible, otherwise this will be a long narrative, I don't want to do it. You're going back to a status or stage which used to be the case before your birth. You're going back to a position or status that used to be before birth what you were. Then, of course, the questions of that you are ultimately real itself. Tattvamasi is told, and Aham Brahmasi you say, and you are one with that ultimate reality. You attain, that's moksha. Where you fail to attain moksha with impurities, then you will have to redeem yourselves through the long process of purificatory process, through birth, rebirth, that vicious cycle. Until you are completely purified, you just can't get moksha. Purified means get rid of all the impurities. You can't attain moksha. Moksha has been attained, not granted. It's your birthright. You can attain, you can try. And there are many methods of moksha. Bhakti or worship is just one only. Ritualism is one only. Knowledge alone sufficient. Where other things are not necessary. Yoga is another thing. And many such things. Karma is another thing. There are many methods. Tantra is another thing. Tantra, of course, shortcut supposed to be. There are many methods to attain moksha. And you attain moksha. Where you not complete the situation, conditions to attain moksha, there you have to undergo the process of refinement. For the Jains and the Buddhists, similar. But then for them, moksha is not not that you are becoming one with Brahman, but then you become like the Tathagata in Buddhism and like Tirthankara in Jainism. That's it. For the Sikhs, it's the same. You become one with the ultimate reality. Only thing, they go through the path of Guru. Of course, Guru is Guru to all people. Guru is one method of attaining transcendence and moksha through Guru. So, fearing death is a regular, normal problem with people. But then one need not to fear. Shakespeare rightly said, necessary end will come when it will come. But you can't take it. So the fear of death shakes you continuously. But in spite of the fact, but again Shakespeare said this correct, you can't do anything about it. Let it come and you face it, and that's strength. Of course, hopefully, logically, let's go back to the state or status of before birth. For you knew nothing before birth, and obviously you shall know nothing after death. It's a common logic. Beyond that, beyond your comprehension, if there are things, you can't help it, because if there are things transcendental, they belong to the category of infinite. They belong to the category of infinite, and you belong to the category of being finite, and a finite thing cannot grasp the infinite. That's it. That's it. Don't be much worried. Don't be much worried, and don't be upset. We don't know is that we don't know. We'll meet again with some other thing. Till then, namaste. Jai Bharat, Jai Shri Ram.